Carey has shared with us her concern for a teacher in our school system who has many positive qualities. She has a deep understanding of her subject area. She wants students to be successful, but nevertheless, she's been encountering some classroom management issues. And Carey's asking the question, if I understand our assignment, what are some things that we can focus on to help all teachers be better at classroom management, better so that their classrooms are more conducive to student learning and students can be more successful? One of the things that I think teachers who have strong management skills possess is a thing called withedness. A few years ago, my son Mike was talking about one of his favorite high school teachers. His teacher's name was Mr. Smith. And I can't remember how it came up, but after indicating to me that he really appreciated Mr. Smith and thought he was an outstanding teacher, I said, well, Mike, what was it about Mr. Smith that made him such a strong teacher? And Mike said, well, he just seemed always to be so competent. And I think that is part of what the withedness is. You and I, as students, had teachers step into the room. We had substitute teachers come into the classroom, and we would do an assessment. And in some cases, in short order, we concluded, I'm not going to misbehave in this class today. I'm going with the program. And that teacher very likely was able to convince us, because when we looked at the person, we said, there's enough withedness here that it's better for me to follow this person's instructions and to be cooperative and to display some diligence. In addition to competence, teachers who are high in withedness seem to have eyes in the back of their head. They're not so easy to distract. They know what's going on in the room. They're paying attention to all the things that are going on in the room. And they're anticipating different problems that might arise during the lesson and to deal with those things effectively. So withedness, we all know what it is when we see it. It's not so easy just to give somebody a simple formula for having that. Nevertheless, there are things we can do to focus on withedness and to convey that. Another thing teachers with strong management skills have or do is they establish clear learning goals. It's important at the beginning of the course, beginning of each unit, beginning of each instructional day to talk about what is it we're trying to accomplish here. What are the learning goals? What do they look like? Am I giving you feedback as to how you're doing in terms of those goals? Why are they important? Why is it important that you learn this material? And I need to believe, as the instructor, that it is important for you to learn these things. Otherwise, why am I here? Important because it's going to allow you to be a better educated person, and that in itself is good. It's important because it might help you to solve real world problems. It's important because it's going to allow you to learn things more easily in the future. So those learning goals, helping people achieve them, clearly communicating them, teachers with strong classroom management skills do that. Third thing that these teachers have, positive relationships with the students. Now that's not always easy to do. But those positive relationships are really built on the teacher showing an interest in those students and in those students' well-being and working hard to help those students be successful. The true professional, I'm not going to convey I'm so interested in myself. When I go see the professional physician or my doctor, that's fine. We'll make a little small talk. But I also want to hear that this person is confident, but also is focused on my health, because that's why I came here. Students want to know that you're concerned about their academic and life success and have a personal interest in them. The fourth thing, in addition to the with itness, the clear goals, the relationships, is the appropriate level of dominance. When they survey students, and they surveyed about 700 middle school students a few years ago, and asked them what they saw as positive in teachers, they indicated that they preferred, on average, the average student preferred a teacher who was not militaristic and just over-domineering, but established strong dominance, enough dominance that they could make the class flow in a certain direction, provided the guidance that the students knew what it was that they were supposed to do. They didn't want just carte blanche freedom to do whatever came in their head that day. So that's something to think about too. We want to feel that we're in a room where the leader knows where we're going and provides enough direction for us to get there without totally over-dominating and giving command after command after command. That is not going to lead to the students wanting to please the teacher and to follow the directives. They're going to push back in some way. And then the last thing, I think, but maybe it should be the first thing, is that teachers need to have clear expectations. When I was in that classroom yesterday, one of the problems the teacher had, it was a cell phone issue. A student pulled out the cell phone, and the student and the teacher got into a discussion. Well, let's be honest, it was an argument about the cell phone. You know, for cell phones and a whole host of other things, we ought to have clear expectations and rules. Take that cell phone out, second time, I'm going to confiscate it, or whatever the rule is. Whatever the consequence is, it ought to be clearly communicated. And then when this happens, you need to follow through. So I believe by focusing on with-itness, trying to establish that, establishing clear learning goals and communicating those to the students, working on positive, caring relationships, trying to the extent possible to establish with that with everybody in the room, having enough dominance to provide the guidance to keep the class moving in the right direction, and also starting off with clear expectations and consequences. By doing these things, focusing on these things, we can increase the chance that we're going to have better management in the classroom. I'm going to be very interested to hear what you have to say in terms of your recommendations. Have a nice Easter.